Murphy's Builder Supply is where you need to go for all your home improvement projects and hardware needs. They've been serving folks in this area since 1946. Murphy's offers some products and services that you may not know about. They now sell ammunition, both bullets and shells. Murphy's also sells personalized tags for dog collars. They build customized screens for windows and doors. Murphy's can rekey locks, and of course they can make keys. They cut glass for windows, plus Murphy's has monthly doorbuster specials. Check their Facebook page to see what's on sale. Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup. A bank that puts people first. First Southern Bank, investing in you since 1907. Serving Jessup, Patterson, and Waycross. A true community bank led by experienced neighborhood bankers that live and work in our community. Offering competitive loan options for commercial and consumer clients. Stop by the Jessup branch and meet branch manager Mandy Yeomans and her fantastic team. Call 912-810-1540. Let First Southern Bank be your bank of choice. First Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings restaurant in Jessup is now open for business, practicing social distancing, but still serving that great food that Damon's is famous for. Come inside or come through the drive-thru, but Damon's is open inside and welcomes back its customers. The menu's the same, the service is fast, and the food is fantastic, and the sauces remain the same, mild, wild, insane, or inferno. The number is the same, 588-WING, 588-9464. Damon's Restaurant on West Cherry Street in Jessup. Dining room now open for business. Come on in and enjoy a great meal today.
7:58 here at the Big Dog, WIFO-FM Jessup. Time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, First Southern Bank, and Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings.
And again, we'll have Stephen Meeks calling shortly. Also got the Boys and Girls Club here in the green room to talk about an event coming up for them, so a lot going on. So, yeah. Busy week.
So what's the MLB situation with the contract? What did they do with over the weekend when they voted? They voted it down.
They voted it down.
Of course they did.
So now it's up to supposedly the commissioner has the right to impose a schedule, but the players could reject that as well. So I don't know what's going to happen in baseball.
Yeah, they're about to kill the golden goose there. Back to 94. Back to the future. How many years did it take? They were talking on Dan Patrick about the long ball, how long it took to Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire finally kicked it back up, and we didn't care that they all were juiced.
The sad thing is, when you're dealing with billionaires and millionaires, we just don't understand it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's over our pay grade.
I know, just the smallest little thing getting upset the apple cart there. I don't know. All right, there we go. We're good to go. So let's just go ahead. World famous Butch and Bob Show on WIFO. Good morning.
And Stephen Meeks on the phone. Stephen, how you doing today? Hadn't talked to you in a while. You doing all right?
Good morning. Doing great. How about y'all?
We're doing good. It's a mad dash now. 5 days left of the session. Had a session on Saturday, which was interesting. But we know the budget's going to be approved because they have to have a budget. So let's talk about some of the other issues and see where they're going to fall in these 5 days. The hate crimes legislation, I understand it got kind of heated on Saturday. A lot of passion. There's back and forth on this. So where do you stand, and do you see that being passed this week?
Well, I am hopeful that the Senate will come together on a hate crimes bill. Obviously, we've had a lot of attention lately. The House passed a version of a hate crime bill earlier in the session before we suspended for the COVID-19 issues. There was a lot of conversation on Saturday, as you mentioned, very passionate. I anticipate the Senate will take that back up today or tomorrow. I haven't seen their floor schedule yet, but I'm extremely hopeful that the Senate will be able to come out with a good bill that we can then take back and consider in the House, because unless they adopt what the House passed, then we'll have to take it back up again. But we did have a very unusual session on Saturday, something we haven't done or hasn't been done in a very long time, and then adjourned yesterday, and we'll head back up today. We'll go back in today for day 36 and sprint to Friday midnight to finish up this session.
Yeah, another item that will be discussed. Talk about this, whether to allow stores and restaurants to deliver wine and beer. What's the issue on that, and what will that do for the state?
My phone cut out there just for a moment, Bob. What was that question again?
There's a potential vote on whether to allow stores and restaurants to deliver wine and beer. Explain that.
Right.
What would that do?
Yeah, there was particularly with it was an issue that had come up in the House actually prior to us recessing that we passed that would allow home delivery. Given we have a tremendous amount of home delivery service, meal service that is being done with Blue Apron and others, that there was an issue that was brought forth. There was a lot of the companies that were interested in it, some of the grocery stores, Kroger and others, that would really like to be able to take that opportunity and deliver with some restrictions as to who's signing for it whenever whenever it's delivered, and really move forward as groceries are being delivered by the grocery stores. The Senate has that bill. My anticipation is we'll get that back. Some variation of it has to move to a conference committee and move forward from there. But it's one that's got a lot of attention, being that particularly with COVID-19 and the delivery of meal services, et cetera. So, and that would be for beer and wine only. Others would be excluded from that.
Okay. And another issue that's going to be discussed is the triple the state's tax on cigarettes. I understand the House Speaker's against this, but apparently it's a way to make money, but they say it's still be lower than the national average. So where do you stand on that?
Yeah, the House Speaker has indicated that he is opposed to that. The Senate Finance Committee did adopt a resolution or pass a bill, I guess Friday-Saturday time frame, that would raise the cigarette tax. We still hopeful that we can make and balance the budget without any increase in taxes. And the Speaker has indicated that he opposes it, and it's something we're making sure that hopefully we can stand firm on.
Why do you think he's opposed it, considering it hasn't been raised forever and it's still one of the lowest in the nation? What's the deal on that?
I think it's just the perception of Republicans raising taxes, and it's something that we haven't done in quite some time, and I think that's the majority of it.
And there's also legislation being proposed to protect businesses from lawsuits for people that possibly could get COVID-19. Where do you stand on that?
I look forward to taking a look at that legislation to see what all it entails. We've gotten calls as your elected officials from employers and others as we have been through this significant crisis and pandemic that we've experienced. And it's been interesting in talking to employers and hearing some of the stories, particularly with employees that may still be working. Some have applied for assistance from the Department of Labor, have gotten unemployment, but yet some are still working. So I think we've got to make sure we take a look at what's happening and what's going on, and understanding that a lot of the situation that may have been created through a pandemic is obviously not the norm in operation for employers and employees as we have moved and tried to work through this. So I think there's a lot of attention being paid to it, as it should, on both sides, but we need to make sure we strike a right balance there.
If you're just joining us, Stephen Meeks on the phone Monday with Meeks. Again, Stephen, it seems like it's going to be a lot on the table in these final 5 days. How do you think it's played out? And what's your daily routine? Are you in your office, or you get to go to the floor, or how's all that work?
Well, following the state guidelines of social distancing, the House has, when we convene, we are actually split into 3 different groups. We are not gathering on the floor as an entire body. We have about half the members on the floor. We have good many members up in the gallery of the House, and then room 341 is also set up for members, and live screens and mics that feed back into the House chamber for questions during debate. Voting has taken a lot longer with currently than what it normally does. We've gone to voice voting, so it is taking a lot longer than the electronic voting that we're used to. That may take a minute or two to complete a vote. It's taking 12, 15 minutes to complete a vote and making sure we get everybody in. So as we and this week, as we move forward in the last 5 days of session, 4 days of session, that a lot of it is going to be committee meetings where we're not adjourning as we normally have for committee days. So in between the House floor getting over to Senate Rules Committee to get our legislation out of there and onto the Senate floor, and then committee meetings that we have in the House. It's been pretty full days. We've had several issues that we've been working on, one being the coal ash bill, Senate 123, that passed the Senate. We had a companion bill in the House, and we've moved the Senate bill through the House process, and we expect that to be on the floor probably today or tomorrow. It was actually tied to the Solid Waste Trust Fund, which has to be passed and reauthorized. So we've spent a good bit of time working on that. Another piece of legislation that I've spent a great deal of time for, that a lot of the listeners have heard about, has been a Blackwater bill that protects the Blackwater rivers of southeast Georgia from any development, particularly that of a landfill down in Brantley County. So it's been a lot of meeting with committee chairmen, with members of committees, and trying to work through and make sure we get some bills to the finish line before the midnight strikes on Friday night.
What happened to crossover days? Is that out the window now with these new bills that have been introduced?
Oh no, so crossover day still stands. The rules of the House and the Senate still apply. If it did not make crossover day, then the bills are dead, essentially. So we are still operating under that crossover day deadline for legislation that we're now considering.
Okay, so how does that affect the hate crime law? That was my main question there.
The House passed a version before before we recess or before we adjourn for the COVID-19 crisis.
Gotcha.
We took that up earlier in the session, so that's how that bill is still working through, and others that I've talked to today. The Senate Bill 123, we actually passed a bill in the House and in the Senate. That's the coal ash surcharge before we left town. So everything's still operating under those general rules of the House and the Senate. Yes, sir. When it comes to crossover day.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be an interesting week. So there's no time frame. Like they don't cut it off like at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You can stay there as long as you want. Is that how it goes?
That is the case, yes, sir. We I think Friday evening it was 6 p.m. when we adjourned. There will be days this week, if I had to guess, that we will, given it's taking a lot longer to vote, that we'll be in session, late into the day, into the early evening, to try to get as many bills as we can done before we take up debate, or while we're waiting on the budget to come back to us, which moved to conference committee on Saturday. So I know that Chairman Tillery and Chairman England have been working very diligently to work out a solution to the budget and bring us back something that we can pass and live with.
Okay, Stephen. Well, again, we appreciate you checking in with us on Monday. Again, it should be a very interesting 5 days. Again, they're live streaming everything, so we talked to Blake and we talked to Bill Werkheiser last week. If anybody wants to watch this, they can watch it live as it unfolds up there in Atlanta.
Most certainly, absolutely. The House has done yeoman's work in making sure that that the transparency of what we're doing remains at its highest level, and making sure that the committee meetings are viewable online. We're working to do a Natural Resources Committee hearing tomorrow that'll be available online, and also be able to have participants from across Georgia to participate instead of coming to Atlanta and not knowing the certainty of the daily schedule. This works well. I've never been one to do online meetings. This has been an experience for me as well as we work through this. But it's been a great way to keep involvement from our constituency across the state, and look forward to being back home Saturday and being in the district and always available if anyone needs me.
Okay, Steve.
We appreciate you and look forward to seeing y'all soon.
Yeah, and we appreciate you being here on Mondays with Meeks. And again, good luck in Atlanta. Stay safe. And like I said, hopefully we'll see you shortly in the studios when you get back home.
Thanks so much. We'll see y'all soon. Take care.
Okay. Again, those comments of Representative Stephen Meeks. Again, as he mentioned, the mad dash here. 5 days of the session left with a lot on the table. So it'll be interesting how long they meet.
Long days.
But a lot on the table. But again, the main thing is that budget, which has to be passed.
That's the only thing that they have to do.
Right, it has to be done. Like I said, that kicks in July 1st, so that budget has to be passed. So, again, we'll look forward to talking to Blake Tillery tomorrow and Bill Werkheiser on Wednesday and get more updates of what's taking place in Atlanta. We got another guest in the green room, Boys and Girls Club director is in the studio, so we'll come back and talk with her right after this.
A bank that puts people first. First Southern Bank, investing in you since 1907. Serving Jessup, Patterson, and Waycross. A true community bank led by experienced neighborhood bankers that live and work in our community. Offering competitive loan options for commercial and consumer clients. Stop by the Jessup branch and meet branch manager Mandy Yeomans and her fantastic team. Call 912-810-1540. Let First Southern Bank be your bank of choice. First Southern Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And then along came Walker Jones.
The recovery is on at Walker Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're talking great financing options for June. How about the 2019 Ram 1500, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year? 0% for an amazing 72 months. You say the 2020s are more your style? Drive home on 2020 Dodge Durango or 2020 Jeep Cherokee and take advantage of 0.9 for 72 months. And of course, we'll take care of you like friends and good neighbors should. That's the Walker Jones way of doing business. We're home of the lifetime warranty at no extra cost to you. Good 24/7 coast to coast. Walker Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Memorial Drive in Waycross and online at WalkerJonesChryslerJeepDodge.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details and 7120.
Get the best deal from Walker Jones.
Back, we got the Boys and Girls Club, Officer Hamilton in, so I'll just turn it over to you, Shelby. What's going on? Tell us what's going on. Good morning.
I'm so happy to be here. We just kind of wanted to come on the radio, kind of give an update of
For
the Boys and Girls Club.
For those who don't know who you are, just tell them who you are.
Yes, I'm the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club, and with me
name.
I have Shelby Anderson, and with me I have one of my board members, Chris Hamilton, and we're coming on this morning just to kind of give the community an update on what we've been up to at the club and everything that's kind of transpired in our world since March 16th.
All right. It's been crazy for everybody.
It sure has.
How's the Boys and Girls Club? They've had to shut down as well.
Yes, we had to shut down on March 16th. We did that with the school system just to be in compliance of doing our part to stop the spread of COVID-19. And we came together and we looked at it, and as a nonprofit, we had to kind of determine how we would navigate through these uncharted waters just like everyone else. And we actually partnered with the Wayne County Nutrition Program in becoming a food site. And through our food site, during our closure for those pretty much 2 months, we were able to serve at least 200 meal bags a week to people in our community. Our kids, we were still able to serve them, but in a different way, in a safe way. And during that closure, we were able to come together as executive director and board members and kind of look into how we were going to navigate and be here after all of this happened.
Sounds good. So when's the Boys and Girls Club going to crank up? They're going to crank up the same time school cranks up? Or
what's exciting is we've already cranked up.
So
we during the closure, right before it, we got with Richard Johnson with the Wayne County Emergency Management, and he was able to guide us in areas of cleaning protocol. We were able to look at what Governor Kemp gave us with the summer camp protocol, when we were able to create off of that our CDC protocol that our staff and our club members go by every day. And we are back open for our summer camp, and children, whenever they arrive, we actually take their temperatures and we do a midday temperature check. We do the same for staff, and we use a lot of hand sanitizer and a lot of bleach to keep it clean. But we were able to open back up to start serving our club members and our essential workers in the community.
Let me ask you an interesting question because, like I said, there's no consistency across the board. Just like Long County had a player test positive, they shut the whole voluntary workout. So if somebody tests positive at the Boys and Girls Club, what's going to be the protocol? Are they going to just send that person home? Are they going to shut it down? What are we going to do?
The protocol as of right now, what we discussed is if we are to get a COVID case, whether it be staff or club members, we would have to shut down for at least 14 days and get the club professionally sanitized. And we would then look into 14 days, or if we're to do it for a couple of weeks or the remainder of the summer. And that's just, and
so
we
the
feel
whole
that
place would have to shut down for 14 days.
That's right, because there's no way we could track where the touches have been been, what the club member touched, where the staff had been. So that way, although we're doing everything possible to make it to where COVID is not there, we know that it's just something that we're having to deal with right now, and we're just dealing with it in the safest way. Right. So I'll take a break real quick and just let Chris talk kind of as a board member.
And as a board member, once again, thank you for letting us come on the show. I'd like to say thank you to all the board members that have helped us. I know right when this pandemic happened, as a board, we all had to come together and make some hard decisions, and Shelby stepped right on in and got us guidelines, what we needed to do, and from the CDC with the help of Nick Ellis. And we've had several conference call meetings on it and had a plan, and it worked out perfectly. So thank you, Shelby. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
And that's what's been exciting is through all this from March 16th, as a nonprofit, we are here because of our community, and there's business leaders and throughout the community that support us financially, whether annually or monthly. And if I got on here and did the list, we would be here for a good while. But just a thank you to them, because those donations didn't stop. There was never a moment where they said our business has either shut down or we're not doing the volume that we expect for 2020. Never once did we get a call that they needed to stop their donations. So to all the businesses here locally in Jessup that support our Boys and Girls Club, and maybe potentially will one day, just know that we are so thankful for you, because by doing that, we were able to open our doors back up on June 8th and start serving our children again in person for that care that we give. And during our closure, we were having to look at, because we weren't able to do our typical May fundraiser to kick off the summer, so we had to look at different avenues of funding. And what we were able to look into were grants, and through that, we actually received a few that actually helped us to reopen for the summer. And I'm just going to list them. The first one being Anthem Foundation, the second one being Bridgestone Tire, the third one being the Rainier Foundation, and the fourth one being Allstate Helping Hands Grant. And through that, we were able to open our doors and not have to worry about where we were going to seek funding, since we weren't able to do that fundraiser. And we're thankful for those. It opened up new doors for our club, a new avenue of funding, and we are excited by that. And by doing this, each day we have our kids, we have our staff. All staff are wearing masks, and donated from, once again, Richard Johnson. He was able to provide us with hand sanitizer, masks for all staff and children if they wanted to wear, and our new cleaning regiments he was able to guide us in. And like I said before we opened, we scrubbed with bleach until we could not anymore.
And Richard really has saved a lot of money for the Boys and Girls Club, and we appreciate that.
Sounds good. So is it Monday through Friday?
It's Monday through Friday. We are, once again, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. We do provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner for them. And as of right now, we are maxed out with how many children we can serve, but we are looking into, in the next couple of weeks, raising that number. So we do have a waiting list available. If there's a parent out there that does need child care, we are happy to get you set up, so that way when we can start serving more children, we are able to.
Okay, sounds good. Good to know the Boys and Girls Club's back in operation.
That's right, because we've been here for a good couple of years, and we've through the city once again. They're a huge support for us, and Mike Deal, one of the founders of the Boys and Girls Club, he still has our back, and we're just, when you look around and It's our club. It's not just one person's club. It's our club as a community, and our community supports us, and we're thankful.
How many board members do you have?
As of right now, we have 23 board members, and who fully support our mission, who is there for us. Our board chair, Nick Ellis, he has been, he transitioned in January, and he by no means thought that he would be guiding us through a pandemic, but he has done a great job doing that. And, the board members, Air Elliott, Morgan Jones, Holly Jones, Felicia Williams, we have so many that once again, if we start listing them and all the great things they do.
I didn't have a list. So I didn't ask
No, you're fine. But they are just they're good, and they back us and they support us, and that's kind of what this is about. Coming on this morning just to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And we welcome people to come by and look at the Boys and Girls Club. And for me, especially, I get to see it every day. From back when I came back from lunch on Thursday, I spent about 15 minutes throwing the football with the kids and had a great time out there, and so it was great.
For those that may not know where the Boys and Girls Club is located, go ahead and tell them that, Jill.
Our address is 550 East Orange Street, Jessup, Georgia, and we're actually the other half of the police station. So they're our neighbors, and they make sure to take care of us and keep an eye out, and we're really appreciative of that.
Okay, sounds good. Appreciate you coming in. So if anybody needs to get a hold of you or need more information, how do they go about it?
That's right. My number and in my office is 912-559-2133. And just give me a call anytime because we're really excited right now about Country Financial. Sean O'Quinney actually donated us a new phone system last week. So just give me a call anytime, 912-559-2133. And I'll be happy to help.
Okay. It's always good to see you. Always welcome. So appreciate y'all coming here on a Monday.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's going to conclude today's Butch and Bob Show. Again, we'll have Blake Tillery tomorrow live from Atlanta with more on the big legislative session, which is winding down 5 days. It's a 5-day sprint, Jonathan. You want to sprint?
Yes, it is. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It's a sprint.
Not a marathon this time.
This time it's a sprint, not a marathon.
All right. World famous Butch and Bob Show on WIFO, brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings, and First Southern Bank. Good morning from the Big Dog, WIFO at 8:23.
And then along came Walker Jones.
The recovery is on at Walker Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're talking great financing options for June. How about the 2019 Ram 1500, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year? 0% for an amazing 72 months. You say the 2020s are more your style? Drive home a 2020 Dodge Durango or 2020 Jeep Cherokee and take advantage of 0.9 for 72 months. And of course, we'll take care of you like friends and good neighbors should. That's the Walker Jones way of doing business. We're home of the lifetime warranty at no extra cost to you.